Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, what's happening with the Bitcoin ETFs, how that's affecting the market, and also as usual we're going to go ahead and start off with the cryptocurrency market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $70,522. It's up over 7% over the past 7 days. Ethereum still in that 3,500 or so range, is currently trading at $3,624. It's up nearly 7% as well over the last week. Then we have Solana that is currently trading at $196. It had actually had a nice little pullback, but has now come back over the past 7 days. It's up over 11%. We see that XRP is still kind of ranging in that 60-cent range. Currently, it's down just under 1% over the last 7 days. You have Dogecoin, the top meme coins. We've been hearing a lot of news about meme coins over the last couple of months. Dogecoin is still at the top, still in the top 10, currently at number 8 by market cap, trading at 21 cents, and it is up over 21% over the past week. We have Cardano up about 1% at 64 cents, and Avalanche in the top 10, currently trading at $53.25. Now, when we look at Bitcoin and what's been happening over the past week or so, you can see here that it is currently trading above $70,000. It had dipped below to around the $68,000 range earlier in the week, and it's come back up and it's kind of stayed fairly steady. Now we're looking to see if Bitcoin is going to continue to stay in that $60,000 to $70,000 range, and if it's able to stay in that range and potentially go up higher. Coming up on the halving, the Bitcoin halving is going to be, right now it looks like around April 20th or so. We still don't know the exact date or time, but it is definitely going to be in the next few weeks. So we're definitely very excited and looking forward to what happens there, because if we go by the traditional Bitcoin 4-year cycle, we have seen that Bitcoin has reached all-time highs after the halving. Now, we have already reached all-time highs before the halving, which hasn't happened before, so we'll be looking to see what happens after the halving this go round, especially now that we have these Bitcoin ETFs and a lot of institutional money coming into the scene. GBTC, as we can see here at their key fund information page, they currently hold over 335,000 Bitcoin in the trust, which is now a ETF. Since the other spot ETFs have been on the market, we have now seen that they have a total of approximately 500,000 Bitcoin. So they have now caught up and have moved past Grayscale in total amount of Bitcoin. And we can also see that it has gone down from 600,000. They had nearly 28 billion in assets under management. But because of the fact that they had a lot of selling pressure due to various companies that had to liquidate their GBTC sales, as well as people looking to find better fees with other spot Bitcoin ETFs, because Grayscale does have one of the largest expense ratios at 1.5%, and many of the other larger spot Bitcoin ETFs are around 0.2%. So we're starting to see some of the outflows slow down a little bit, but they definitely have seen a lot of their shares of Bitcoin go down. When, as I mentioned, they had 600,000 and now they have almost half of that at 335,000. So we'll be interested to see how much is going to be sold coming out of that trust now converted to an ETF. But that's part of the reason many people believe that Bitcoin has been staying below 100,000, because some thought that it could potentially get above 100,000 before the halving, but if it wasn't for the outflows out of this Grayscale Bitcoin trust. But we'll definitely keep you posted on that as we keep track with Bitcoin and its Bitcoin prices. But regardless of what's happening with GBTC, we see that there's still a ton of demand that is coming into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. As you can see here, Hong Kong is likely to allow in-kind creations for spot Bitcoin ETFs, according to Bloomberg. So it's going to be a little bit different than the US spot Bitcoin ETFs, because they do cash redemption. So basically, if you buy an ETF, it's all going to be converted using US dollars, using fiat currency. And with these spot Bitcoin ETFs using in-kind creations, then that could bring a significant amount of money into the space from Chinese investors and other investors in the Asia market. And the reason why is because of the fact that instead of using cash, as I mentioned, they also can have a trade with the actual underlying asset. So that is definitely attractive to a lot of investors and can potentially bring a lot of investors from the China market as well as other parts of Asia. So there's still a huge deluge of attention and a huge deluge deluge of investors that could be coming into the Bitcoin space. And as we know, Bitcoin is a finite commodity. So as we see that there's more demand and the supply is limited, particularly after the halving when the supply is going to be cut in half, that could likely bring the cost of Bitcoin up above 100,000. But time obviously will tell. But as you can see here, looks like Hong Kong is going to allow these in-kind creations and redemptions for the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and it's slated for the second quarter of this year. So we know that the end of the quarter has reached us, so we're now going into the second quarter, so it's only a matter of time before we get news as to when these Hong Kong ETFs will hit the market. Another region, which is Europe, is also looking to start the market for Bitcoin and Ethereum with exchange traded notes. Now these are a little bit different than exchange traded funds. There's some different tax implications as well as it being a debt instrument as opposed to actually holding and carrying the underlying asset. So they are looking to begin putting this on the market. It looks like sometime in May. As we see here, the London Stock Exchange will roll out Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded notes on May 28th. So they've been accepting applications for those crypto ETNs they will start, those crypto applications starting on April 8th. So in the next week or so, they will be accepting applications for those ETNs, and most likely they will be hitting the market sometime in the next month. So what we're seeing here is people are starting to speculate what's going to happen with the Bitcoin cycle now that we are starting to see such huge demand coming in from these spot market ETFs. And so this is an opinion piece by Dan Polatsky over at Consensus Magazine, and it's discussing how there's a possibility that we may not see the same 4-year bull and bear market that we have been seeing over the past several cycles when it comes to Bitcoin. Usually after the halving, we see a run up in Bitcoin, and it usually lasts a little over a year to a year and a half, and then we go into a bear market for a couple of years, and then we start to see a run back up going into the halving, and then after the halving again, which basically is a 4-year cycle. So there's a possibility that that cycle could be interrupted because of all the demand that we're starting to see come in from institutions with these spot Bitcoin ETFs, as well as the worldwide demand and interest in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So it remains to be seen. We've already seen the anomaly of us already hitting the all-time high before the halving. So we'll definitely be interested to see as we go into these next 4 years after this halving coming up in April to see exactly what's going to happen to the Bitcoin price over the next 4 years. So there's still a lot more to come with regards to what's going to happen in the cryptocurrency market, especially now that people are looking towards Ethereum to see if they will be allowed to have a spot Ethereum ETF on the market. The SEC right now is currently looking to potentially classify Ethereum as a security. Now we've seen that the Commodities Futures and Trade Commission, in their lawsuit against KuCoin, they have classified Ethereum as a commodity according to their filings. So we shall see what's going to happen since the CFTC classifies Ethereum as a commodity. The SEC is looking to classify the Ethereum as a security, but they already have allowed for Ethereum's futures ETFs, which many people believe is a much riskier security instrument on the market. So if they've already done that with the futures ETF, many people are expecting that at some point they're going to have to allow for the spot Ethereum ETF. So that still remains to be seen. But in the meantime, continue to stay posted with us here. We're going to keep you up to date on all the major news when it comes to Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. And you can see us here on Networkchain on X, as well as on Instagram at Networkchain. We post there nearly every day, and we look forward to connecting with you on the Networkchain. In the meantime, take care.